Greetings to my listeners. In this video, we will study summary writing and note making from section 3 of your textbook. Summary writing is lesson number 3.1. Let us begin with it. Summary writing is an extremely important writing skill. As William Shakespeare has said, brevity is the soul of wit. This is one of his countless maxims. It is relevant to speaking as well as writing. Brevity or conclusion is the cutting of unnecessary words while conveying an idea. It aims to enhance the communication by eliminating redundancy without omitting important information. Summary writing is one of its kind that has been described as one of the elementary principles of writing. To speak what is required and to write what is necessary is a requisite towards the development of language skills. It is important to be brief in written expression. To express in brief the main points of a written record is the summary writing skill, and that can be developed by practice. Summarizing has a definite purpose. The purpose of a summary is to give the reader a clear, objective picture of the original text. Most importantly, the summary restates only the main points of a text or a lecture without giving examples or details such as dates, numbers, or statistics. Let me put this in simple words. Summary is a very important writing skill and it will help you in speaking as well as writing. It is nothing but to cut out or to exclude unimportant words and ideas. The aim of summary writing is to convey the message without unimportant points. It is an extremely, or you can say, basic principle of writing skills. Unless and until you know how to write a summary, it will be difficult for you to prepare other writing skills. It is an extremely important part of your language skills. Summary is nothing but to write in brief whatever is written, or to express in brief the main points of a written record is nothing but summary writing skill. That can be developed only by practice. Summary writing has a definite purpose, a specific purpose. The main aim of summary writing is to give the reader a clear picture or an idea of the original text or the information that he has read or heard. For example, when you listen to a lecture, you should always have a notebook with you so that you are able to note down the important points that your teacher is telling. This is one of the type of summary writing. Now let us see what are the do's of summary writing. First one is read and reread the passage. When you want to write a summary, reading the passage and understanding it is extremely important. Read the passage at least twice. Read it, reread it, understand it. Then only you will be able to write the summary. Next do of a summary is understand. Understand the passage thoroughly. If there are some jargons means difficult words, then try to understand it in context of the summary of the line. See what is the context. Read the sentence twice, thrice, and see what is the context and try to guess the meaning. Next to do of summary writing is read the instructions. Read the instructions clearly. Whatever instructions are given in the question or whatever instructions are mentioned in the passage should be read twice, thrice, as much as you can so that you understand. Next point is find exactly what you need to summarize. You should be aware of what exactly you need to summarize. What exactly should be summarized you should know. You should always, first of all, you should mark the important points. Next point is identify the main idea through the process of asking questions. This is the best way to find the main points. If you're finding difficulty in writing a summary, when you read, then you should use this technique. First, you should read the passage carefully. Read it twice, read it thrice, read the instructions carefully, understand it very well, and then start asking questions to yourself. Start asking questions to every sentence. Then you will understand what is the important idea. This is extremely important do's, or this is one of the most important points of summary writing. Now the next point. Next point is frame short sentences on your own. Now, since it is a summary writing, you cannot write everything in detail and you cannot write very lengthy sentences. It is always better to frame short sentences. Short sentences will help you to make your summary precise. Now, next point is connect the sentences using linkers. Sometimes it will happen that you will have long sentences in the summary, in the text, in the original text. So what you should do is cut the sentences into short, and if at all you want to connect them, use linkers or use conjunctions so that you can join the two ideas together. For example, you have two sentences. Ram was studying full stop. Ram was not Ram was studying, and you have another sentence. Suppose Ram was listening to his mother. So instead of writing two sentences like this, you can write Ram was studying while he was listening to his mother. So it becomes one sentence and it will reduce the size of your text also. Now remove redundant words and sentences from the key sentences. Now this is also an important point. It means you should remove unimportant points from the summary. Only write the important points that are necessary. Now next point is omit details. Omit details means there is no need to write everything in detail. Your text or your content or your passage will have lot of details. So only the important ones should be written. For example, there will be descriptions. Avoid descriptions. There is no need to write descriptions. Only write the important things that are necessary. And last do's of the summary writing is avoid your own interpretation. Since it is summary writing, we don't need to write our interpretation. We don't need to express our ideas. If we do that, it will become extremely lengthy. So whenever you write a summary, you should stop yourself from writing. I know it is very difficult, to control yourself and to control writing your thoughts or views, but when you write a summary, this is most important point. You should avoid writing your interpretation. should avoid it. If you go on writing your interpretation, it will no longer be a summary, it will become a paraphrase. Now let us recapitulate the do's of summary writing. First one was read and reread the passage. Read the passage at least 2 times or 3 times. It will help you to write a very good summary. And reading is the most important technique of writing a summary. When you read the passage, then only you will be able to do the second point in this, which is understanding. Understand the passage clearly. Get a precise understanding of the passage. Even if there are jargons or difficult words, try to understand them in the context of the sentence. Read the sentence twice or thrice, then you will be able to understand that point or that word, even if it is difficult or it is unheard. Read the instructions in the question clearly. Read properly. Hence, reading is extremely important. Nextly, find exactly what you need to summarize. Exactly. Think, first of all, before writing a summary, you have to think. You should have a clear idea in your mind what exactly is needed to be summarized. Next is identify only the main idea of the passage, and this can be done only by asking questions to yourself. When you ask questions to yourself, then only you will be able to write the summary. You read one sentence, ask questions, read the second sentence, ask questions again to yourself, then only you will be able to write the summary. Next is frame short sentences on your own. In a summary writing, never write lengthy sentences. Should always write shorter ones. Okay? Like the simple sentences. Next is use linkers or conjunctions to join ideas or actions. Always use linkers, and you can combine 2-3 sentences into one by using linkers or conjunctions. Next is remove unimportant words and remove unimportant phrases from the sentence. Only whatever are the important phrases and important points should be included. All other things should be removed. And you should omit the details. Omit the details means you should omit whatever is unimportant. Only the important points should be used. And you should avoid your own interpretation. Never ever write your opinion about the text. I know it is very difficult because most of you, when you write your English paper, you are used to writing your opinion in everything, because personal response is one of the important question in every passage. So most of you are used to writing your interpretation, but in summary writing, it is extremely important to avoid writing your interpretation. So with this, I think you have understood the do's of summary. Let us understand the don'ts of summary writing. First don't is include. What you should not include? You should not include all the points, or you should not include everything that is there in the text or the passage that is given to you. Everything should not be included. If you include everything, then it will no longer be called a summary. You should always include only the important points. Next don't of summary writing is exclude. What you should exclude? What you should not exclude? You should not exclude important points. Whatever are the important points or the keywords, they should be included in your summary writing. If the keywords or the key points are not included, then you cannot call it a summary. Now don't add. What you should not add? You should not add your interpretation or your opinion. If you add your interpretation or opinion, it cannot be called a summary. It will become an essay or a paraphrase. Then don't comment. Never comment on the text. This is summary writing. This is not personal response. Nobody wants your comments or opinions on it. So stop commenting while you write a summary. Then don't give examples. This is extremely important because we have noticed children giving examples in summary writing. Never ever give examples in summary writing. Nobody, it is a summary writing. If you give examples, it will not at all be called a summary writing. So, I hope you have understood the don'ts. Let me recapitulate again. Let me revise again the don'ts. Don't include. Don't include the unimportant points. Don't include the entire passage. Okay. Next point is don't exclude. Don't exclude the keywords or the important points. Next point is don't add. Don't add extra points. Don't add your opinion. Next is don't comment. Don't comment on the text or the content that is there in the passage. Don't, and the last one was don't give examples. Never ever give examples in summary writing. If you give examples, it will no longer be called a summary. Now let us see the steps to write a summary. I hope by now all of you all must have already understood what are the steps to write the summary, but still we will discuss it once. While writing the summary, the first step should be read the article or the passage at least 2 times or 3 times. Minimum 2 times, maximum times that you want. Okay, but minimum 2 times. Now your question paper is for 80 marks and it is for 3 hours. So whenever you get reading time, you get before your exam, you get 10 minutes reading time. The first thing that you should read is the unseen passage that has been given for summarizing. In those 10 minutes, because those are the extra 10 minutes that you get. So in those 10 minutes, instead of reading, first reading the other things, no doubt reading the other things is also important, but the prose and the poetry is already from your textbook which you have studied. Okay, and writing skills and grammar, for that you have practiced. So when you go for that reading time, those extra 10 minutes which you get before writing your exam, in that reading, those 10 minutes should be utilized for reading this unseen passage thoroughly. Read it thoroughly, because when you read the unseen passage thoroughly, you will be able to answer, because that will take extra time. That will extract the maximum time of your writing, the 3 hours that you will need. Okay, in those 3 hours you will need a lot of time to read the unseen passage. So first read the unseen passage and mark the important points, because you know that you will have to write a summary of it. So in those 10 minutes, all of you please make it sure, or please note it now itself. You will first read the unseen passage. Read it twice, and first time when you read it slowly, and second time when you read it a little faster, and take a pencil in your hand and mark the important points. Now let us see what is the step 2. Ask questions about the purpose of writing. Whenever you read a sentence in the passage, you ask questions to every sentence. What is the purpose of this sentence? What is the purpose of this writing? Then you will understand how important that sentence is, or is it necessary to be included in your summary. So you read it twice, thrice, and ask the purpose of every sentence. Then only you will be able to understand it. Then identify the main idea. Guess what is the main idea of the given passage. Because you will also have to give a title to your summary. So identifying the main idea when you read the passage itself is extremely important. So identify the main idea, identify it and mark it and be ready with it. And before writing a summary, before writing the actual summary, prepare a rough draft of it. You can prepare it in a form of points, but make sure when you write the summary, actual summary, it should be written in form of a paragraph. It should be 1/4 of the given passage, or it can be, for 50 words. Generally, this is the count which is expected by HSC board. So don't extend your summary beyond 50 words. You can maximum, you can, extend 10 words more, 60 words you can make, but not more than that. Then the next point is revise your draft and edit it. After writing the rough draft, edit it. Do not write it as it is. Okay, edit it, make changes in it, make the necessary changes that you feel, and then write the final draft. Also give it a title. So these were important points or steps to write a summary. I will revise again. First, read the article twice. Second, ask questions about the purpose of writing. Third, identify the main idea. Fourth, write the first draft. Fifth, revise your first draft and edit it. And sixth, write the final draft. Do not write the rough draft. Okay, so I hope you have understood the steps of summary writing. Now let us proceed to the next lesson, which is note making. Note making is lesson number 3.3 in your section 3. Now this is also one important writing skill, and it is necessary to understand it. Let us first understand the difference in note making and note taking. Both the skills are totally different. Note taking is a passive process which is undertaken during lectures. Note taking at a glance gives a complete view of a paragraph or any content which contains the main points and supporting details of whatever is heard during lectures or speech. Note taking is like reading from different books and presenting for different purposes. Now, what is note making? Note making is a more active and focused writing skill where a concrete connection between all relevant concepts and words is drawn to infuse or connect all thoughts together by a method. And there are various methods also of note taking. I hope you understood the difference. Let me summarize the difference again. Note taking is an extremely passive process where it is a passive process because you just listen to whatever the speaker is saying, or you just see whatever is there in the paragraph and you jot down the points. Okay, it is, there is in note taking there is no length, or there is no rule as such. That is why when you read the note taking, it will give you a complete view of the paragraph. Okay, now note making. Note making is an active writing skill where there will be a connection between all the relevant concepts and words, and there is a specific technique or skill of writing note making. Okay, now let us understand the similarities between note making and note taking. Both of these, note making as well as note taking, provide the students with material for easy reference. Okay, and it helps us for preparation and study during an examination. Both The note making and note taking will help the students in remembering facts which are easier, and it utilizes both reading and listening skills. Both of them have same purpose, that is for the students to excel in their studies. And both these writing skills help the students to concentrate better and effectively. Let me summarize again. Note making and note taking will help you to prepare reference, and it will help you to prepare for your examination. Both of them will help you to remember facts extremely easily, and it will utilize both. Means when you prepare note making or note taking, you have to use both reading as well as listening skills. And both, the purpose of making notes or taking notes is only for the excellence of students and their studies. And both of them will help you, both these writing skills will help you to concentrate better and effectively. Now let us revise again. Okay, what is the difference, basic difference between note making and note taking? Note taking is only jotting down points, and it involves no sight interpretation. Means in note taking you will only jot down points without your interpretation or without your putting your wit over there. Whereas note making will help the student to see each point clearly along with its link or connection with each other. In note making you will be able to understand each and everything clearly. Okay, now let us see the next difference. Note taking requires very little changes. Means you can just write down whatever the prose or the speaker is saying. Whereas note taking is easier to change the notes made. In note making, you can change the notes that are made. Then note taking is taking points from one source at a time. In note taking, we have to take points from only one source at a time. You cannot use other sources or other passages. You cannot use your references. But in note making, it involves taking points from different sources. Okay, whenever you want to make notes, you can, when you are doing note making, you can include points from various sources. Note taking requires less understanding, whereas note making requires more understanding. Note taking, in note taking, points or notes are written in full form. Points given by sources are written directly. There is no need to use your intelligence. Whereas in note making, it is often a short form. So you have to use your wit, your intelligence, and convert it into short. You cannot write a lengthy point in note making. Next difference, note taking only gives early configuration for the whole topic. It will just give you an idea of the whole topic. Whereas note making captures the main points or the key points which helps the students to study better. And the last difference is, note taking are made from sources. They are handmade since the time available is limited. For example, when you have a lecture of 40 minutes, you have limited time of 40 minutes. So whatever your teacher is saying or whatever she is explaining, you have to note it very fast in that limited time. Whereas note making is constructed by the learners themselves in handmade or in computer typed form. That is why you have ample of time. I cannot say actually if we see your board exam, you don't have ample of time for it, but you can time yourself. I think 5 to 10 minutes are important for are more than enough for note making, and you can make a skeleton of it, and you can prepare your note making. So this was the difference between note making and note taking once again. Now let us see the styles of note making. There are various ways in which you can make notes. First is tables. They will give you a passage and give you an incomplete table. You will have to complete it. Okay. Next type of note making, and this table can be in a form of a bar, in form of a chart. Okay. Yeah. Now another type of note making is tree diagram. Okay. Tree diagrams are like flow charts or the classification diagrams that are there in your science books. Here you will generally have under one heading, they will give you types of something, types and subtypes of something. So this is how you make a tree diagram. Another is maps and plans. In this they will give you points. Okay, a passage will be given. Based on that passage, incomplete points will be given in form of complete the following or fill in the blank. You have to fill it up. Now this note making is also seen in one more question, which is non-verbal to verbal, where they will give you bars, charts, tables, pie diagrams, tree diagrams, or flow charts or maps and plans, and they will tell you to make a passage out of it. So note making is important in that question as well as the question that is specifically made for note making. So these were the styles of note making. Let me explain once again. And there are various styles of note making. First one was making tables. A passage will be given and incomplete table will be given. You have to complete the table. Next is tree diagram. A passage will be given and a flow chart or a classification diagram will be given. You have to complete it. Sometimes they will not give the classification diagram, they will just give the passage. You have to draw it yourself. Next type of note making is maps and plans, where they will give you points, incomplete points and a passage. Based on the information given in the passage, you will have to complete those points. Now another type of note making you will find in question number in the last questions in writing skills, where they will give you a diagram, a note making, and you will have to convert it into a passage, where they will give you bar charts, pie diagrams, flow charts, tree diagram, pictograms, tables, maps, plans, various things. In this you have to read this and you have to convert it into a passage. So with this we complete note making and note taking. Thank you students. Let's meet in the next lecture. Have a good day.